All right, let's get to our busts. So, Kenny, I imagine you have many honorable mentions. So you want to get to your bust honorable mentions?
Yeah, I got to brag a little first. From last year, my honorable mentions were Davante Adams and Austin Eckler. That's not bragging. Okay, that's a little, but my top 5 were better. Right? Royce Freeman, Damian Williams, James Conner, Baker Mayfield, and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry. Anyway, but the Derrick Henry one, my take there looks better, and I'll get to it in a second. But my 2020 bust honorable mentions. Let me make sure I got my honorable mentions. And when I say bust, by the way, like maybe I don't know how you guys think about busts. I think of just guys who I think are generally being overvalued. Like they still may be fine. I just would rather draft them much later, and I want to be drafting them, on the bottom end of their range of outcomes. That's what I'm thinking. So it's not that these guys are going to outright suck necessarily. So my honorable mention, Davante Adams. I mean, he's like the first or second wide receiver off the board in a lot of drafts. He finished 29th last year. I know because he missed 3 games, but like even on a points per game basis, he wasn't a wide receiver 1 in most formats. And so I've just never really liked Davante Adams as a receiver. I think he's overrated. So I don't like him in the second round. If you want to draft him in the third, that's fine. But I don't like him in the second round. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire makes me a little nervous. Again, I don't think he's going to suck. But you got to draft him late first, early second. I don't know. That makes me nervous. Like a rookie without training camp, without the off season, without preseason. And Matt Waldman, who I really respect over at Rookie Scouting Portfolio, really had him at the 7th best running back in this draft class, which is much lower than anyone else. So it just makes me nervous. Chris Godwin to me also makes me nervous, being mid to late second round as the 4th or third, 4th or 5th receiver off the board, almost always ahead of Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is clearly the best receiver on that team. So I don't understand Godwin in that spot. Like, again, I don't mind Godwin in the 3rd, but just a little overvalued for me. JuJu, as I just talked about a moment ago, he's kind of late 3rd, early 4th. I just think he's a little overvalued for the guy who I think will be the 2nd best receiver on the team. And David Montgomery, is also a guy that I just, he's going to get a lot of volume probably, but he's like a 5th round pick, 6th round pick. He's the kind of guy that could be out of the NFL in 2 years. Like, I don't know if I like that. Like, so I think those guys like Adams, Helaire, Godwin, Montgomery, JuJu are all guys that I think they're all being overvalued to make me nervous.
Yeah, I can definitely see some of those guys. I totally agree with you on Godwin. I don't get why he's going ahead of Mike Evans. Everyone seems to be projecting this massive Godwin tilt with Brady coming in. I just don't see it. I think the targets are going to get spread around. I think they finish maybe roughly equal, but I'd still bet on Evans over Godwin at this point. Maybe we'll be proven wrong, but I think he's going too high. There are a couple other dudes. I just don't love their situations. These are running backs. Raheem Mostert, I love his offensive line, but I also think that Tevin Coleman could easily become the top running back there again. Also, Jarrick McKinnon, who I always in my head call Jerk McChicken. I cannot get that out of my head. It's like a disease at this point. He is back. I think he's finally healthy 2 years after signing a pretty big contract. It was bigger than Coleman's too to become the starter there. So if those guys are healthy, Shanahan could run just a rotation there. So I'm a little bit I'm pretty lukewarm on that group. I would also classify the Melvin Gordon. Like, I love Melvin Gordon's skill set, and I think the Broncos situation could turn into like a Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt type, where both he and Phillip Lindsay are relevant. Yeah. But I also have this sneaking suspicion that Melvin Gordon's going to end up going too high for what he ends up producing. I just think Lindsay's looked better so far at training camp. And, it's not like Lindsay was bad. They just got Gordon cheap. So I just worry if it's going to take some time for them to figure out how to use both. And also, I don't love the tackle situation in Denver. So I think that won't help. Again, I would still draft Gordon. I just probably wouldn't take him as early as some other people are taking him. So those are my 3 honorable mentions. I think that's it's a good number to cap at for me.
Yeah. So my bust. So to kind of pile on Chris Godwin. He's another one who's going in the second round. Also DeAndre Hopkins. Like I love DeAndre Hopkins. He's a phenomenal player. If you were still with the Texans, I would not consider him a bust. But given how much Kyler Murray scrambles, I think that's a little worrying for Hopkins. Murray runs more than Deshaun Watson, a lot more, and it seems like Kyler Murray is going to spread around the ball. But they start 4 receivers, and plus the running back gets a lot of volume. It's going to be a lot different than it was in Houston. I think Hopkins makes Arizona much better in real life, but not in fantasy. So, and plus you have in the second round, you probably want to target a running back unless like a Tyreek Hill falls to you, or maybe Julio Jones. I wouldn't put Chris Godwin or DeAndre Hopkins with Arizona in that category. There's a running back I want to mention as well, but I have a strong feeling he's going to be talked about. So I'll pass on him for now. Also, I think Matt Ryan is going a little too early overall. Like if you can get him in the 11th round, like I think I did in one of our mock drafts, I'm fine with him there. But his ADP is 712. I think that's way too early. A lot of his production last year came in garbage time. And I think Atlanta's going to be better this year. I actually took out an 80-1 bet on Atlanta to win the Super Bowl. I think that's decent value. And I know that our Super Contest proxy, Andy, loves Atlanta this year. So those are my honorable mentions. So